it has started. Hello. Hmm. So good afternoon, everybody. So we are starting our presentation today. Francisca is supposed to be the first online, as in first to present. But since she's not presenting now, then I need to go up first. Yes. Hello, Francisca.
I'm Mutu.
Can you go up, please? Want to start your presentation now? So please share your screen and start the presentation.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I'm talking about suicide. Introduction to Hi, my name is Francisca. So it's always difficult to imagine what led a friend, family member, or celebrity to commit suicide. There are no warning signs, and you may wonder what clues you might have missed. Often, many factors combine to lead to a decision to commit suicide. Every 40 seconds, a person dies by suicide somewhere in the world. Every year, close to 800,000 people take their own life, and there are many other people who attempt suicide. Suicide does not only occur in like high income countries, but is a global phenomenon in all regions of the world. 79% of global suicide occur in low and middle income countries in 2016. Every suicide is a tragedy that affects families, communities, and the entire country. And it has its long-lasting effect on people they left behind. Causes of suicide. They have depression, mental illness, traumatic stress, substance abuse and impulsivity, loss or fear of loss, chronic pain, and terminal disease. In these chronic pain and terminal diseases, like no cure for a particular illness, in some states, assisted suicide is legal. So there's also social isolation, believe your life is a burden to others. So data analysis on suicide. So according to the data sets I used, suicide rates are decreasingly globally of those countries that show clear Lillian trends over time. Two-thirds are decreasingly on average. The suicide rates increase with age. This remains true when controlling for the when looking at the continents in America, Asia, Europe, but not for Africa and Oceania. So the the first point is checking the yearly plot of the gender difference. So from the image, you will see that male commits suicide than females. So this answer the question like who commits more suicide across genders, either male or female. So you can see here that it's the male that commits more suicide. So the second point, it shows the number of suicide committed by people of different generation across both the genders. So you will see here that the boomers has the highest rate of suicide, while Generation Z has the lowest. Well, in this particular graph, as you can see, the suicide rate of Generation X, which is from 1965 to 1980, is decreased from the year 1995. So the suicide rate of silent generation is high and increasingly high from 1985 to 2010, while the rate of boomers was high in years from 1991 to 1994 and was the generation with most suicide from 1991 to 2016. Then the rate of suicide for the millennials has increased from the year 2011, and Generation Z has the lowest rate of suicide. So sorry, this image is not clear. I wanted to just capture everything at once. So, but from the next slide, you see it talks about the suicide committed by different age group across both genders. This one was for each year. So as you can see with the same rate of how I plotted this graph is how this was plotted also. So if we look back at this one, you see that from 35 to 54 years had the highest rate of suicide across both genders. That's what happened here also if you check the graph for both male and female for each year. So the graph here is from 1995 to 2016. So my and also the sorry most suicide per 100K occur in older ages and decreases with age. It is true, but for both male and female. So observation from the data set. The age feature has 6 unit age group. The generation feature has 6 types of generation, which is the greatest generation, the silent generation, the baby boomers, the generation X, the millennials, and generation Z. So the greatest generation are those born between 1901 to 1924. And those are the ones that experienced the greatest depression and World War II in their adulthood. While the silent generation were born between 1924 to 1945. Those were born post-war, like after the World War II. While the baby boomers were those born after World War II, those are the men and women who turned in, got high, dropped out, then became hippies in their late 70s. Then technology started becoming a learning process for them. Then Generation X was from 1965 and 1980. Those are the street smart but isolated, often with divorced or career driven parents. Then the millennials are the researchers and the commentators use birth ages ranging from the early 1980s to the early 2000s, known as sophisticated technology wise, immune to most traditional networking and sales pitches. Well, we are in this generation, Sha. We are in the generation of the millennials. So Generation Z is those born after 1995 and they have never known a world without computers and cell phones. So now, looking at the prevention and cure for suicide. Suicide can be prevented, although my first point is kind of, how should I say it? Should I say funny or something like that? I know some of it is not possible, especially the pesticide. Fine, we have mosquitoes to kill and everything like that. But now, if you check on the news, what most people use to commit suicide is I use one pesticide to kill. Like a lady can use a pesticide to kill herself, a guy can use a pesticide to kill, and some people use certain medications also. And also, media houses, they should try to report suicide in a responsible way. Not that they will just react to reports about suicide in a nonchalant manner. and also introducing alcohol policies to reduce harmful usage of it, early detection, treatment, and care of people with mental and substance issues, chronic pain, and emotional pain. And also, suicide is also a complex issue, and the prevention requires a lot of coordination and collaboration from how should I say multiple sectors of the society, including the health sector and other sectors such as education, politics, agriculture, business, media houses, etc. This effort must be comprehensive, integrated, as no single approach alone can make an impact on an issue as complex as suicide. So I saw this fact online. It says that people who talk about suicide may be reaching out for help or support. A significant amount of people contemplating suicide are experiencing anxiety, depression, and hopelessness, and may feel that there is no other option for them. And also, given the widespread stigma around suicide, most people who are contemplating suicide do not know who to speak to. Rather, they are encouraging suicidal behavior. Talking openly can give an individual other options or the time to rethink his or her decision, thereby preventing suicide. Thank you. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hey, I can hear you.
Hello. Yeah, that's any questions.
Questions. I didn't join from the beginning. I'm not sure I can say a slight. It's okay.
Hi, Francisca. I have a question. No question. A comment. You shows the generations and baby boomer. But from your analysis, you actually different countries that had moderate, moderate suicide levels. So I want to ask how did, when you said, or how did you select those as moderate levels of suicide level? Yeah. Did you hear me?
Sorry, I didn't
Hello, Francisca.
get that. Your network is.
Yes. So you can hear you.
Can you come again? Your
Hello,
network is.
Francisca. Can you hear me
I didn't
now?
get that. I can hear you now. Speak up.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I said that during your presentation, I saw your graph and you mentioned X down to the millennials and all of that. So during analysis, you showed some countries that have moderate level of suicide. I wanted to ask, was it part of your data set, or and how were you able to bring those countries out? Because you didn't mention them during your graph as part of your analysis.
Yeah, so they are part of the data set. So I was not able to add some pictures to it, although they're on the main like the main GBT. Sorry about that.
Okay, okay, all right. Thank you. That was my only. Any question? Any other question? I'm
I want to switch my. This line used to connect. Give me address.
Hello, can you see our screen?
No.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
No.
Shadi, can you manage to change the
Can you see the screen?
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Hi everyone. Good afternoon. This is Tolu. So I did a project on criminality in London. I did a project on criminality in London, and um I want to tell you what I was able to find out from my project analysis. So, first of all, we need to understand the problem of criminality in London and what have you. So, as of today, it is being reported that over 40 cases of knife crime is being reported to the police now. So, knife crime, when I was doing my analysis, was not part of the types of crime that were committed, and um it was part I want to see it as it is part of other crime, and of that selection of other crime in my analysis, they were very low. So knife crime is the most occurring crime and form of violence reported in 2019 in London, and knife crime ends in murder and homicide. They basically start from conflict, so and it ends people's life. From my analysis, I was able to find out that the lowest form of crime that is being reported to the police is possession of weapons and drugs, and of course, these crimes lead to violent crimes and loss of life. And from the outcome of my um, analysis, most of the crime that were committed, no suspect was arrested. At least 90% of my data set, from my data set, the crimes that were committed, the suspects were not arrested. This is the objective of my project. I want to find out what are the different crime that are occurring and which crime is the most prominent. When are the most criminality occurring in London and where is it happening? How do holidays affect the crime rates in London, if they have any? And is the location in which the that it occurs have enough police presence? And I would like to mention right now that the data set that I used, it was collected from the City of London Police. So yes, this the location for the crime, they have enough police presence. So where do crime occur the most? Residential or business areas? Please follow me in this journey we're about to take together. So in my analysis, this is the short overview of it. Over 2.9 million crimes were reported to London between the year 2014 and 2019. Westminster is the highest location in which crime is being committed, with over 80,000 crimes that were reported to the police. Over 707,000 crimes of antisocial behavior is being reported between 2014 and 2017. And antisocial behavior is the highest crime that is being committed throughout in all of these years. The crimes were at their peak in 2016 with over 989,000 crimes that were reported. And these crimes that were committed were reported to the City of London Police and Metropolitan Police Service. Understanding crime in London. So my data set is between June 2014 and May 2017. So the possession of weapons and drugs were the lowest, as I mentioned earlier, and the highest crime that were committed were antisocial behavior, violence and sexual offences, theft from other person, and vehicle crime. So the crime crime rate is actually increasing. I want to dispute what I wrote here. So because my data set as from January to May 2017 is not a whole year. So that is why I wrote like it's reduced. It didn't actually reduce, it's an incomplete data set. So even though 2016 has the highest crime that is being committed, and that is over 989,000 cases that were reported. So crimes that were committed between June 2014 and May 2017. So this is the various crimes that were committed: vehicle crime, violence and sexual offences, antisocial behaviour, bicycle theft, other theft, theft from other person, other crime. So I want to mention that knife crime could have been other crime, though it was not obvious. That is, and it must have been so small that it has to be categorized as other crime. But in today, it is the most occurring crime. Drugs, possession of drugs, burglary, public order, shoplifting, crime, criminal damage and harshney, robbery, possession of weapons. So crime variation in 2014. So we have crime in 2014 that peaked in July. The highest form of crime that is committed is in July, and it reduced to the rest of the year, and it is lowest in December. Burglary is the highest in December compared to the rest of the year, and bicycle theft reduced between June and December. July, a non-holiday month, has the highest crime reported to the police. So I want to mention the holidays that they have in London. So they have in January, April, May, August, and December. So all those 5 months is when they have holidays. So crime in 2015, violence and sexual offences were the highest crime that were reported. Drug possession was at its lowest in December. Crime started picking up and on the rise from March, and highest in July, a non-holiday month, and started dropping to increase in October on the average to the end of the year. January and February recorded the lowest crime month in 2015. In 2016, burglary, theft from other person and robbery increased. Drug possession were all of these were lowest in December. So in December, burglary increased, theft from other person increased, robbery increased, but drug possession was at its lowest compared to the rest of the month. Crime peaked in July and it is lowest in February. February is a non-holiday month, and July too is a non-holiday month. Vehicle crime was its highest in year or in October, and violence and sexual offense was the most crime committed in January, February, March, and antisocial behavior was highest in for the rest of the year. In 2017, crime were very low in February and highest in May. I want to remind us that this image has only from January to May, so it does not have a complete year. So, so crime was is highest in May and lowest in February. Possession of weapons was lowest in January. It's a holiday month, and there there's much antisocial behavior and violence and sexual offences in March, as well as thefts from other people, and it's peaked throughout the rest of the months in 2017. So I've been able to find the variation between different crime and how they varied between each year. So concerning where crime is being committed the most, and it is shoplifting. So crime is highest on or near a supermarket, and the highest form of crime that is being committed is shoplifting. So according to this chart that I have, the most crime near a supermarket is shoplifting among other theft and violence and sexual offense. The most The least crime is possession of weapons, and I want to mention that most likely when shoplifting was done, yeah, it was not used with weapon. Probably that is why it is low. Okay, so on to concentric zone model. This is an economic theory, and I would like to apply it my my analysis. So if you can see this yellow part, it indicates central business district, and then we have this pink part, the factory zone. They are commercial zones, and then this zone of transition is mixed with residential and commercial area, and then the blue part is fully residential area for working class, and then this green area is middle class and residential commuter zone, so scattered residential areas. So I want to show you a heat map that I created using the first 3,000 locations on my data set. This red part, it indicates how the most um, the most crime is concentrated in that area. And I mentioned earlier that Westminster is has the highest number of crime that is being committed, the location in which the highest crime is being committed. But if I zoom in into this location, it is the city of London. So I didn't use all of my data sets, the all of the location in my data set, because it has way too much location. So I was able to use the first 3,000 of my data set. That is why we have City of London as um so by indication it is a business area. That is what I'm trying to point out. They're not in residential area. So it answers the question of whether crime is being committed in residential areas or business areas. So crime occurs more in business areas, even the shoplifting, commercial area, it's around the supermarkets. So the question of where is the crimes, are there more police present? So I was able to find um near on or near a police station which crime is being committed the most, and um it is violence and sexual offences, and the lowest crime committed is possession of weapon and bicycle theft and robbery. Yeah, so and this crime are not as much as the one that are being reported. Less than 5,000 crime is being committed around the police station. So from my analysis, I was able to find that the most crime that are committed is antisocial behavior, violence and sexual offense, and other forms of theft. The least crime that is being committed is the possession of weapons, bicycle theft, and other crime. Some crime increase in December compared to the rest of the year, which includes burglary, theft, and robbery. So I would say that this crime occur majorly in residential area, and they are actually very low. But during December, they spike up compared to the rest of the year. Crimes were its lowest in December and January compared to the rest of the year. And then holiday has no influence on crime, but the time of crime that is being committed. Using the case of December, that the type of crime increases, but crime itself in December is not as high as July or May, a non-holiday month. So crime in London is increasing since 2014 down to this year. It has not reduced or anything. So I have links to support all of my analysis here. Thank you everyone for listening. Any questions?
I have a question to
Okay,
ask.
thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tulu. That was very precise and very direct presentation. So my question is, you kept mentioning and social behavior, the most
Yes.
crimes. So please, can you explain what this example of this antisocial behavior is like?
What did you say? I did not hear you. Hello.
Is someone saying something?
Uh, I'm trying to.
Just stop sharing.
Yeah. No. Okay. 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 Any other question?
So why is it that there's high rate of crime in December?
So crime is not high in December. It is actually very low. But there's specific crime that are high in December, like burglary, robbery, theft from other people. So those are the crimes that increase compared to the rest of the year in December. But in July, July has the highest all of the year from between 2014 to 2017. Um, Crime is highest in July.
Why?
Why? So I have no idea why that is, but I think starts increasing between January. It just increases and it picks up in July. It is the middle of the year, and then it starts decreasing from July.
So over there is July.
Over
There
there,
is
so there's a
July.
reason for it.
Yeah.
Maybe because there's a public holiday.
Maybe
It is not. It is a non-holiday month actually.
Okay, to explain.
It's a non-holiday month, so it's not because of holiday that.
So where crimes occur in July, is it a residential area or say a business area? Because that would explain, well, maybe not necessarily explain, it might give an hint to why
So
crimes occur there.
it's a business area.
Okay.
Yes.
Business.
Yes.
So if
Business
it's a
area,
business
commercial area. That is
if
what
it's a
I'm trying
commercial
to.
area.
Commercial area.
It means at that point in time, maybe you'd have more businesses running things and then maybe more money
Coming in.
or exactly maybe more money or more of what people want to steal. Sure, you get
Okay.
like that.
Okay, but is it proven? Are there articles talking about it? I'm sure there should be some.
Yes.
There should be some like newspaper reports and all of that. Talking about that.
Yes. Yes. I have one attached to it. Francisca, do you want to ask me a question? Hello, Francisca.
No, I don't have any question.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Um, Good afternoon, everyone. I'll be talking on. I am. Sorry. Is it okay? Oh, have I? You share?
Yeah.
You screen share, yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll be talking on standard of standard of living in Nigeria, and okay, I got my data from the National Bureau of Statistics of Nigeria, and standard of living is standard of living is one of the most important things which the citizens of a country actually focus on, as it determines if they want to still stay in that country or want to move to secure better opportunities for themselves and their families. So I'll be talking on the definition of standard of living, how standard of living is measured, and I'll compare the standard of living of Nigeria to neighboring countries. And also, I'll be talking about migration, net migration in particular, and how migration has affected how standard of living in Nigeria has affected migration rather. and I'll be talking about the Sustainable Development Goals and how the standard of living in Nigeria has improved over the years with respect to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So, standard of living is a level of financial health and wealth, comfort, and material goods available to a socio-economic class of a certain geographic area. And it is measured through generally through the GDP, which is the gross domestic product, as we all know. I hope we all know what GDP is. And
No, gross domestic product.
so gross domestic product. So also it can be measured through the United Nations Human Development Index, which is the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So GDP represents the monetary value in the local currency of all goods and services produced in a country over a specific period of time. Okay, I particularly tried to check the GDP of Nigeria over the years from 1990 to 2017. As we can all see that the 2018 value has been chopped off by maybe the National Bureau of Statistics. So from 1990 to 2017. And we can see that the GDP is in US dollars. And from 1990 to 2000, okay, from 1990 to 1992, it's actually declined. And it picked up from 1993 to 2014, and it shows that the GDP of Nigeria increased gradually, although it decreased in 2009 too, but it increased to 2014 at a very impressive rate, at least for Nigeria. And from 2014, it took as in it declined to 2017, and up till now, even though the values are not here, I don't think things have actually gotten better. So I compared the standard of living of Nigeria to Rwanda. Even though people mention that Nigeria has many tech guys and all, and we have different businesses and everything. Rwanda, although is quite smaller than Nigeria, has actually groomed herself to be one of the biggest tech giants in Africa, which everyone in the continent knows. And I noticed that the GDP of Nigeria, although it took a decline from 2014, the GDP of Rwanda has actually increased at a very high rate, which is quite commendable. So, although when I tried plotting Nigeria and Rwanda on the same plot, the GDP of Rwanda was actually flat. And this is due to the fact that Nigeria has a higher purchasing power than Rwanda. You understand that?
Yeah,
You
I
don't understand?
understand. Like,
Okay, so there's this thing they call the dollar value. So if you want to change naira to dollar, and if you want to change Rwandan currency to which one is, you understand, like which one will weigh more? So Nigeria actually has a higher purchasing power than Rwanda, but unfortunately, our GDP has declined, and Rwanda is actually moving higher because more companies are investing in Rwanda. More people are moving here, like whites, to establish companies and all. So I also compared the standard of living of Nigeria to that of Egypt. As I mentioned earlier, that Rwanda has a lower purchasing power to Nigeria. Egypt actually has a higher purchasing power than Nigeria. And funny enough, Egypt has a lower GDP to that of Nigeria. So it shows the inadequacies and everything when you're comparing standard of living of a country to another using the GDP. Also, I picked different countries, different, well, African giants as they call themselves, Nigeria, South Africa, and Sudan. Um, I guess I mistakenly omitted my legend showing on this graph. And I, from the analysis actually, South Africa has a higher GDP than Nigeria. And although it is not indicated if South Africa has a higher purchasing power than Nigeria, but it is important to note that Nigeria's population is way higher than that of South Africa. And the GDP of Nigeria, although with its blooming population and or still has a lower population, lower GDP than South Africa and but higher than Sudan. So um, that's that on GDP. Also, I tried checking migration if GDP, or sorry, standard of living affects migration in the country. So, what is net migration? We all know what migration is, moving in and out of the country. So, net migration is the difference between the number of immigrants and the number of emigrants in the country throughout a year. So, when the number of immigrants is larger than that of the emigrants, a positive net migration occurs. That's when more people are coming in. That means it's better than when more people are moving out. So, from the analysis, Nigeria is on negative net migration. Like it shows that although there are different causes of migration, anyways, there's social migration, there's economic migration, there is migration through probably forced migration by what's it called, war and stuff. As we know that Boko Haram is disturbing people in the north and all, but still, Nigeria is in a negative net migration, which means more people are moving out. And I feel it's good for us to stay together and build Nigeria. Anyways. So from 1991, okay, recently, like for like 2 years now, and the values are not on the graph, anyways, and that's the values are missing anyway. So um, recently, people have been saying that more people are moving out of Nigeria, but I would like to say that more people have been moving out of Nigeria before now. It's just that they did not tell their village people, anyways, as we call it. So from 1991 to 1997, more people left Nigeria. But from 1998, I guess people decided to move in a little. And off the analysis, I would just like to chip this in. Most people like Adesua, most people like Banky W, people that schooled outside Nigeria moved back in. And that's why we have more cinemas, because it's interesting to know that cinemas like film house, the people that brought them to Nigeria actually moved back in, and that's why we have cinemas like that. So, and I would like to say that despite the fact that the GDP is, the standard of living is okay as regards calculating its, and despite the fact that the GDP is declining, people are still moving in up to like 2017, and that's okay. I actually want to talk about the Sustainable Development Goals, and I have indicated how standard of living is affecting net migration. Yeah, but I feel I should move on and come back so that we will not miss out. So, what are the Sustainable Development Goals? Sustainable Development Goals is an agenda that was adopted by countries in 2015 with a vision to ending poverty and protecting the planet to ensure that everyone enjoys peace and prosperity. So, and the goals were adopted by other countries. There are 17 goals, which are no poverty, zero hunger, good health and safety, equality, for goal one, no poverty. The proportion of population below the international poverty line, that is people that live above $1.90 in Nigeria is actually very high. Like people that live below the international poverty line are actually really high in Nigeria. From 1991, sorry, 1996 and 2002. Yeah, it's actually really high. So from the graph, we can see that there are different, what's it called here? From the legend, we can see that there are different targets that has been set by Nigeria to calculate the poverty line. So, and every time is on the high side, which is in Nigeria, and it's true. People are really living below what they ought to be living. So for nourishment, Nigeria sets targets to calculate the level of hunger, and from the graph we can see that everything is on the high side. Proportion of stunted food, proportion of wasted children, proportion of wild children, proportion of local breeds that's animals and health and stuff. They are really on the high side. Well, the what values are missing actually. One, which is suicide mortality rate, which is also very big in Nigeria, and the value is from 2012. Quality of education, the target sets are gender parity index for teachers, proportion of schools with access to electricity, proportion of schools with access to basic drinking water. Also, from the analysis, it shows that everything is on the high side. Like people are not really getting access to what they ought to be getting access to. Gender equality, so proportion of women who are aged 20 to 24 that are married by age 18 is very too. That means people are not really for going further with their education, and this will tell on the economy. So sanitation, total initial flow for water supply and sanitation. From this analysis, it's really high, but I would like to say that it's a lie. Like really dirty. So I don't know how they got this really dirty. So affordable and clean energy. Nigeria set targets for access to electricity, then renewable energy share in the total final energy consumption, and energy intensity level of primary energy. So from the graph, it shows that yes, well, from the proportion of population with access to electricity, which is like the people don't really have access to electricity. Even from this to height, a lie. I actually bought like 10 hours of electricity in my area. Yeah, which is even like much. Decent work and economic. The targets are growth rate of real capital GDP. Okay, I would like to skip some GDP earlier. Yeah. So there are actually 17 goals which cannot be covered because of time, but I will conclude that from the analysis, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals has adequately like exposed it has the measure countries because that will be on the eating side because they will get more money from every of them. And finally, I want to point that it is important. As important as GDP is to all the countries, um, as it does a great deal in showing their strengths. It, however, does not show the weaknesses. Because the country we think, oh, Nigeria has a real GDP, a high like Ibe and Ilesha are probably living in road, everything, and even people in Ekiti. But then, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals has adequately exposed that Nigerians do not have a high standard of living. Thank you.
Very good. So now can I confidently comment that there's no standard of living of people in the country? Because I saw that you compared different those that have purchasing power and not purchasing power, and we saw that Nigeria was actually low, was actually high. So we say that there's no relationship between the GDP and
Well, to an extent, there is, because it shows everybody works. Okay, let me put it as everybody well, irrespective of the unemployment rates, which I couldn't really show because of time, people work in companies, people produce goods and services, which is actually a calculation of
Okay.
do you understand? So indirectly, it is calculating your input, your effort, but it is not adequately showing that this is what the returns from this is. This is not what the impact is having on you. Like, what is it for? Like, can you boast of going to a public university with really high standards that can meet with Harvard, really better than you?
So there's no relationship between the GDP and the standard of
There is actually.
education. Okay. Then this one is a comment actually that you showed and you said it's a lie. And I'll write you that as a data analyst. One the quality you should have is you should have an open mind. You should not be too emotional about your data set. What your data set tells you, so you just interpret it as it is. So you just interpret it as it is. So you should not say, although sometimes, yes, sometimes you look at it and you be like, but this is not true now. But the data set is that's your facts that you have. So you should just try to accept your data set as it is and your analysis as it is. So thank you.
So to buttress what Daniel said. So one thing you can do in that instance where you feel like your data set is not is look for more. It probably means maybe something is wrong with your data somewhere. If it points to what
No,
does not seem logical enough.
no, I actually checked their site. Like, I checked every what other people have done because there's a page that shows what other people have done, and it shows that some values they are intentionally omitted.
Okay, see, it means the data is not spent. So, and if that is the case, the conclusion you draw from such a data is not reliable. So this is why you probably want to look into getting another of that data or
That was not the only sign that I didn't know that one, but from them,
good work. It's amazing. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, my own question, but there's a particular graph you shared that was a little bit confusing. Minus 10,000. That is the number of people that leaving the country over the years. And we can say that more people are leaving than 91, 90, 80.
confusing as the graph.
So the graph is saying minus 300,000. So minus 300,000 is like, I mean, 10,000, so minus 300,000 like. So your line, oh sorry, your point graph is showing that 100,000 that minus 100,000 compared to 2001 upward that has about 10,000.
So negative values are different from positive values. Points like that. Because I said correct, but well, like for what like like which is this. So
And that means
it's
that
not necessarily that it's not necessarily people I don't even know about. It could be that we have people in Ghana, or at least I find that stayed in homes that actually just came back to Nigeria.
Timmy will go because she's invested next after So, Timmy, are you ready? Can you share your screen? Can you share that?
Yes, I don't know if no, not here. I'm looking share my screen here. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Please, how can I share my screen? Please, how can I share my screen? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, okay. Sorry, I'm looking so. Okay, share.
Video.
Ah,
Can you turn off your video,
I'm
Timmy?
sorry. Sorry.
Your video, Timmy.
Can you share? Can you see my screen? Oh my god. I'm
Yes, you can see it now.
so
See your
application
face
window
now.
or the
You should
entire
turn off
screen, please. Can
your.
someone help me? Hello?
Application window.
Hello?
You can do
Okay,
the
thank
entire
you.
screen.
Okay.
Hello, Timmy. We can see your face, not the screen. Left of your screen. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we can see your screen now. And let's see. Hmm.
Can you see my screen now?
Okay, so you are sharing now. Yes, you can see your
Okay,
screen.
can you see my slide?
Yeah, no,
No, no.
no.
Oh no.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Can you turn on your speaker? It's on that. You know what's on your
It's off. Put off your video. Okay.
Okay, I should put off my video, right? My face is not smiling actually, so okay, I think it should work well now, hopefully.
We can
I
still
hope
see your
so.
face.
Oh my god. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Thank you everyone. Good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Emilade. So I'll be presenting my capstone project, and the topic is understanding the factors that affect employee attrition. So, what do you expect from this presentation? So, what employee attrition means, reason for employee attrition, and the factors that affect employee attrition using IBM HR dataset. So, what is employee attrition? It is generally the loss of employees over a period of time without hiring replacement. And also, it can be, like a mass layoff of staff, or it can also be in another way whereby people there's a mass resignation from an office or employee retires. So most times the attrition is just when you lose employee over a period of time, most times without replacing them. And we have types of attrition. We have the functional attrition and we have preventable attrition. The functional attrition is caused by uncontrolled factors or circumstances that can't be controlled or handled. Example of it is sometimes when you retire, you can't control when you retire. When you attain a particular age, say max 60, especially if you're
Sorry,
working.
sorry, Timmy. Hi, Timmy.
Hello?
Timmy.
Can you hear me?
Please, can you click on present? I left a message for you. Click on present so that you're in
Okay.
presentation mode.
Okay. I'm sorry, please.
Go back to your slide. Go back to your slide. It's fine. Just click on present on your slide.
Oh yeah, sorry. Sorry. Can you see it now? Hello? Hello?
Hello, we
Can't
can't see
see
your
your screen.
screen. We can't see your screen.
Can you share?
Can anyone hear me? Yeah.
Yes, we
Yes,
can
we
hear
can
you.
hear
Yeah, go
you.
back to sharing your screen.
Can you see me?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. Oh man. Click on present at the top of your screen. Yeah, I did. Okay, let me do
Can
this
you share
again.
your
My
screen?
entire screen.
See me.
Yeah.
When you share your screen, on your slide, you see present at the top right corner.
Yeah.
Click on
Yeah, I
that.
already clicked on
Click
that.
on present. Uh-huh.
I clicked on that already. Can,
Uh-huh.
can you
You
see
can
now?
continue now.
Can you see now?
Yes, you can continue.
Okay. Yeah, so okay, thank you. So okay, let me start again. All right, so I'll be talking on understanding the factor that affect attrition, and then what you expect from this presentation is what employee attrition means, reason for employee attrition, and factors that affect employee attrition using IBM HR data sets. So further on, I explained employee attrition. Generally, they lost employees over a period of time without hiring replacement or staff turnover or a lot of loss to skill labor and all that. So most times, especially in this part of this world, we hear where, especially in private organization, where they just sack people over time and they have no replacement for such people. So we have types of attrition, which are functional attrition and preventable attrition. And functional attrition is circumstance that you can't control. For example, if you are at the age of if you're up to 60 years old or 65, most especially in the public sector, you have to retire. You can't control how high your age is, except we do the other way. Maybe you try to doctor your age or something. But at a point in time, you have to retire. This time you can't control it. And preventable attrition is when the type of attrition you can control or you can avoid. Sometimes it's due to poor hiring practices or misguided policies. It could be due to organizational policies or other factors that can affect employee attrition. So what are the reasons? Sometimes in organization it could be low pay, it could be demotivated employees, it could be in time of lack of career growth, like I said, due to retirement, sometimes distance from home, working hours, performance rating, health issues, monthly income, job satisfaction, and so many other reasons why they are either staff layover or a company rejecting or laying off a lot of their staff. So using IBM data sets, we'll be exploring, the data set and see how employee attrition is affected by this organization. So from the analysis, we have a total number of 1,450 1,470 employee, and we can see the age range from 3 in the age range of 40 and we would deduce that the average employee at IBM is 37 years old. Also, getting general overview from this data set, we realize that male of the employee, while 40% like, and also 50% of the total employee are married, 32% are single, while 18% are divorced. Going further, we tried to check the education. We're able to deduce that 39% of them had bachelor's degree, 19% they have a college degree, 12% below college, 27% had master's degree, and 3% had doctor's degree. So we can see that to a point, a lot of most of, or let's say, yeah, 39% of them have bachelor's degree, which shows that they are to a point they are very intellectual in terms of educational background. So now we will look at the factors, how attrition affects IBM HR data set. The organization was the attrition high or low. So there is something we call attrition rate. Attrition rate tells you the rate at which attrition is affected by an organization. So it tells you how much people leave the organization or how much they stay in the organization. And from this data set, we could see that the attrition rate is 16%, which tells us that it's very low. And from here, we could also deduce that organizations with low employee attrition rates have employees that are happy and want to continue working for the company, while organizations that have a high employee attrition, which means that if people are actually staying in your organization, it shows that they are growing or they love the job they are doing or they are happy with the organization. So for IBM HR now, for this data set, we could see that the attrition rate is very low. Going further, so we want to check how the staff or how the employees are satisfied with their jobs. And we see that because the attrition rate is low, we could see here that a lot of them are happy or they are satisfied with their job. So the average job satisfaction level of employees who are affected is lower than the employee who were not affected. So it shows that a lot of the employees or most of the employees are satisfied with their job. And also, okay, so we have job involvement and job So job involvement means how much you are involved in people who are affected by attrition are low. That means people that left the organization did not really have a high job involvement level, while a lot of them that are there had a high job involvement level. Also, we could see that we have a lot of very high job satisfaction and high job satisfaction. So which shows us that people that left the organization had low job satisfaction and they have low monthly incomes. Okay, I didn't include that graph here. Also, from the data set, we could deduce that people that left the job also have a low monthly income compared to those attrition in an organization. So we have seen the attrition rate, we have seen job satisfaction level, which is also a factor that affects attrition. we have seen job involvement, which shows most employees involved in the organization. Also, this doctor, IBM, I down because like the people that fires do of attribute to clothing, hotels are employed by very far from the most employed are a BSc or bachelor's degree and masters and doctor. We have a few that have doctorate degree. But here we can see that education is major factor that affect them using IBM HR with different level of education that are also affected by attrition. So basically, it's not because they have different roles. So rates degree also are affected a little, but we can see here that people that have bachelor's degree and master's degree have more level or are more affected by attrition compared to those who are below and who are below college and who have below college degree and also people who have a college degree. So we can say that education might not really be a factor for employee attrition. So okay, yes, I want to say, oh, okay, yeah, using the data set, a lot of people that were affected are in the HR that and in the department are actually like attrition. So in conclusion, for employees to actively work and stay for the time in which they are in the organization. And also, employees should work together for the success and the growth of the organization because it's not a one factor thing. There are several factors that could lead to employee attrition, and there are so many more that if we dig further, we can see so many factors. But from this slide, these are the little or these are the factors that we're able to deduce that affected employee attrition in IBM HR data set. So this is the end. So and the last thing is the win of one is the win of all. So together we can success of an organization. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Hello.
that's something.
Thank you. I'm done. I hope everybody can hear me. Hello? Oh, they can't hear me. Oh, I didn't know record.
Yes, we
I can
can
hear
hear
you.
you. We can hear
Oh
you.
my god.
We can hear you.
Okay, so anybody have questions?
No,
Okay,
nice
I'm
one.
done. I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, that's
I'm sorry. I'm trying
nice
to.
one.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Tammy. Thank you.
Nice.
So, first will be
I
coming
can
up
hear you.
now. Well done. Hope everyone can see my screen. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Francis Mercy, and my topic is breast.
It's true. Okay. No, like okay. Okay. Yeah, my name is Francis Mercy, and my topic is breast cancer in women in US. So, okay, first, okay, I'll be introducing first. I'll be introducing cancer,
Cancer, breast cancer.
breast cancer. Then I'll be talking on the total sum of women population, survivors of breast cancer in US, and total sum of death count. Then I'll also be talking on the states with the highest breast cancer rate. The number of women that survive cancer, how best can cancer be prevented, causes, then understanding breast cancer risk and how to lower it, and then surviving breast cancer. Okay. Talking about breast cancer, breast cancer is actually one of the most common disease among women in our society, and this has shortened the life of many women in our society. This made me to make some research on how breast cancer has caused lots of damages to our women and how best can be worked on and prevented. Okay, talking about cancer generally, cancer is actually a group of disease characterized by the uncontrolled growth and spread of abnormal cells. If the spread is not controlled, it can lead to death. Although the cause of many cancers are unknown, established cancer causes include lifestyle, both external factors such as tobacco use and excess body weight, and non-modifiable internal factors such as inherited genetic mutations, hormones, and immune conditions. Now, talking about breast cancer itself, what really is breast cancer? So, cancer of the breast is actually a malignant tumor which can metastasize, meaning spread to other parts of the body. Ordinarily, the tumor can be into a lump. However, some types of breast cancers do not. Two most common types of breast cancer are ductal, which is nipple, and lobular cancers, which start in the milk glands. While lumps can be breast cancer, not all lumps turn out to be malignant. Okay, so I decided to look at the total sum of women population in US death counts because my data set actually consists of this: the incidence rate, how many meaning how many people that actually got affected by the cancer, then the population, then people that survived, and people that actually died of breast cancer. So okay, one thing about my data set is my data set actually is more like compilation of from 2011 to 2015. It's not specific, maybe okay, this is for 2011 or this was 2014 or this for 2015. So it just started from 2011 straight to 2015. So it's like compilation of everything in a particular data set. So moving now to the country with the highest breast cancer rates, because sorry, that's a mistake. Actually, a state. Sorry. So moving on to, because I'm talking about states in US. So I'm talking about US. So which is actually compilation of all states in US. So talking about the states with the highest breast cancer rate, as you can see here, we can see that Ohio have the highest breast cancer rate in US as at 2011 to 2015. So after compiling it, it was found out, it could be deducted that Ohio have the highest breast cancer rate. Like many women got affected in Ohio more. And we can see that the next one here is vagina, and the next is Virginia. Virginia, sorry. Virginia. Virginia. Virginia.
Virginia.
Oh God. And the next one here is the next one here is New York. And okay, as you can see, followed by New Jersey. Okay, now I'm talking about the highest number of women that died of breast cancer. So the highest number of women that died of breast cancer actually happens to be from California, which we can see here. That the highest number of women that actually died is from California, followed by Utah, followed by okay, I think followed by Florida, then Caroline. So moving on to the next graph,
We can talking about the states with the that survive the state with the highest survival of people that survive breast cancer. So we can see here that okay, California actually have the highest number of people that survived it. Like they actually more like maybe compilation of people that got affected that survived and people that didn't even get affected at all. So these are the people that actually survived it. Like breast cancer free. They survived the breast cancer, so they were not affected, or they got affected but they survived it. So we can see here, like it's very clear. After that, you can see New York have the next highest rate. Then followed by I think Texas and Florida. They're actually on almost on the same level. So it's very clear, and we can see all the states here, 50 states to be precise. Then now I have to make my research to like how best can cancer be prevented to avoid all this death of maybe women dying of breast cancer. So I found out that there are ways cancer can be prevented, and one of the ways is by eating a healthy diet. Making healthy selections at grocery stores and at mealtime can't actually guarantee cancer prevention. So it might reduce your risk. We should try to eat plenty of fruits and vegetables. Now, I'm talking about cancer in general, like one of the means it can be prevented. So we have other means of preventing breast cancer actually, and we have keeping weight in check. Then we have being physically active. Do not smoke. Breastfeed is if possible. Then avoid too much alcohol, avoid birth control pills, particularly after age 35. Avoid postmenopausal hormones, tamoxifen and raloxifene for women at high risk. Then causes. I had to look into it. Okay, what exactly is the causes of this breast cancer? So doctors know that breast cancer occurs when some breast cells begin to grow abnormally. These cells divide more rapidly than healthy cells do and continue to accumulate, forming a lump or mass. Cells may spread, metastasize through your breast to your lymph nodes or to other parts of your body. So breast cancer most often begins with cells in the milk producing ducts, invasive ductal carcinoma. Breast cancer may also begin in the glandular tissue called lobules, which is an invasive lobular carcinoma, or in other cells or tissue within the breast. So understanding breast cancer risk and how to lower it. Okay, actually most breast cancers they are inherited, meaning some are inherited. So only 5 to 10% are. This means there are many things you can do to lower your risk of being diagnosed. If you have no history of the disease, there are steps you can take to keep your risk as low as it can be. If you have been diagnosed, there are things you can do beyond any treatment you are receiving to reduce the risk of the cancer coming back or developing a new cancer. So if you are living with advanced stage breast cancer, you want to do everything you can to slow the cancer's growth. So another means maybe you should at least to avoid getting breast cancer, or even though you have already, at least try to go for screening to check okay how long, and so you can know how best and when best to start the treatment. So please do not forget to always go for screening. It is very important and necessary. Despite some controversy, studies show that breast cancer screening with mammography saves lives. It doesn't help prevent cancer, but it can help find early when it's most treatable. So it is advisable for our women out there, at least once in a while you can go for a checkup. All the women here and out there now, generally, all the women, okay, it's advisable that at least you go for checkup, go for screening, at least to know the level. Just check your breast, check yourself to be sure you are okay. Then surviving breast cancer. Okay, fitness is actually a key to smooth and quicker recovery. So even if it means exercising for 15 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes is all you really need. Women who survive cancer in the breast are more likely to develop other various types of cancer. So, maintaining health through regular exercise is one way to reduce further complications. So, exercise in general reduces chances of developing cancer in the breast and also helps women recovering from disease. So in conclusion, so from our analysis so far, I could see that California has the highest rate of population and Ohio have the highest number of women who got affected by breast cancer in the year 2011 to 2015. Like I said, it was not specific. Neither did they even really talk about age range. So it's more like compilation of the year and compilation of all women together. So by now, many research have been done and there are articles and many documents that can be of help on how best to prevent having breast cancer. And if battling with breast cancer already, there are measures to take to help live with it and get quick recovery. So thank you everyone for listening. Any questions?
Yes. What should we be since we are very
Fruits. Eating fruits.
What should we stop eating?
Why you should stop eating? Okay. Okay, there was a part I actually talked about going to grocery stores most time, maybe buying canned food would actually yes.
Should I eat that?
No, at least it shouldn't be more of it. It should be less of it.
Fresh type of
Eat
Oh,
fresh.
that's Americans because they always bring the
So it's advisable you eat more fresh
Did
food.
your analysis indicates all of the do's and the don'ts relations
Exactly.
regarding
As in, wait, like if
did
it's
your
my data.
data set indicates which fruits we should
No,
eat?
actually, no. I made a research.
I want to ask you a question.
Sorry, I have a question. Sorry, I have a
I have a
question.
question.
I listened to when you were talking about causes of cancer or something. Say menopause something.
Yeah, using no this pill is
Menopause.
Where?
So out of everything, that one is confusing to me.
Please, which part is that?
A side effect of drugs.
Yeah,
When
you
you
use
drugs, there are
too
side
much
effects. A side
Like
effect
which,
of
as in drugs like example.
she said a menopausal
no all this
something. There are drugs for that, and I think it's even out of the range of our analysis.
Okay, me, I want to ask from the analysis, did you get any, as in, number of women that died from cancer on your data set?
Number of women. Okay, like I talked about the total sum. So I had to make the total sum of the it's more like maybe the column, the death rate. I made the total sum of the women that actually died during that 2011
So
and that
women
was the
from
first thing I
which of the
showed.
states?
From all okay, no. Okay, what I actually I'm talking about a particular country. Just that okay, definitely there are
Like which of the
states.
states? Is it Ohio or Virginia or California? Which of did you check which of the states
Have what?
the highest death from cancer?
Yeah, I did.
Sorry,
It's there. This is
I'm sorry, because you said avoid postmenopausal hormones.
what was talking about?
So I don't understand that place. Avoid
So there are
postmenopausal hormones
stuff
like
called hormones. They're like drugs or say
No, it's called hormonals.
hormones.
Hormones is what is in your body.
What is in our
it
body?
could be a type of. So I think that's more of something we can all research on. It's way out of. I don't know if
Okay.
you get what I'm saying.
Okay, to answer your question, have you seen the death rate?
Alright.
Okay.
So it's from California.
Yes, actually.
I think
Followed by
Then what does the color? The color
When she
difference
saw it,
mean?
actually I actually didn't specify any color. The graph came out like that with the way I plotted it. Like it just came out with the color like that.
All right, so thank you.
All right, thank you too. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you want to say something.
Okay, Tolu, you wanted to say something?
Titi wants to say something.
Okay,
Titi, you are going to say
You see,
something.
you're going to say something.
I'm not saying anything again.
I think that was what you wanted to say before.
Okay, so Dane,
Okay.
would you present again so that
I'm so sorry. Yesterday, my
you get
my
to
recording didn't save. It's not back.
This section is crazy.
Are, are we done? Are we done,
No,
guys?
we are
no,
not
we're
done.
not.
Yeah.
Who is next?
Is I have to
Okay,
sorry, I have
Danny is
to
next,
present
right?
it. Yes. Okay, so good evening everyone. Evening. Okay. So my topic is suicide trend from 1990 to 2016. I want to examine the suicide trend, and this is Dane Dashaga. So what to expect by the end of my presentation, what you expect is you'll be able to tell the highest age range of suicidal attempts as in what age are actually suicidal, and then do males commit suicide more than females. We are going to find that we are going to find out, and then what are the causes of suicide attempts in the highest proportions of suicide attempts. Like take for example, if males commit suicide more than females, we are going to find out why. And if females commit suicide more than males, we are also going to know why by the end of my presentation. And what are the possible ways to help reduce suicidal attempts? So, introduction, background story. Okay, so earlier this year, I had emotional problems, so I had to cry at a corner, and then I had these onlookers, they came to console me. So they're now like asking me what was wrong. I didn't tell them what was wrong, but their fear was they thought I would go to commit suicide. And it was kind of strange because I just started laughing. I needed my privacy to go and cry. I was not looking for an option to go and commit suicide. Well, we should face it. Actually, suicide is actually real. And some people, when you see someone going to a corner like that to go and cry, the next thing is the person is depressed, and then the next option the person considers is suicide. So just recently, A to Z Daily News reported that Isaac Kapi, an American actor, committed suicide on 13th May 2009 in Arizona in the US. And it's an American actor, you'd be like, wow, this is a superstar. Why would he commit suicide? So I've been talking, and then let's know what exactly is this suicide. Suicide is the act of killing oneself intentionally. And then what is trend? Trend is a general direction in which something is developing or changing. So this graph actually shows the trend of suicide from 1990 to 2016. We can see that precisely at 1995, there is a peak. It shows that at 1995, more people actually committed suicide. And then it started decreasing. It decreased progressively until 2015, where a sharp increase is noticed from the graph. So since the suicidal trend in the world generally, so some countries are actually affected and some are not affected. So since this is a graph showing the different countries that where suicide actually took place, and then we can see that this graph is showing that Russia actually has a high suicide rate, followed by the US and then Japan. So and then comparing this graph with the population of the people in the countries, you can see that the population, US actually has a higher population than Russia, and which is not really accurate because the population of the people is not supposed to be less than the suicide number. So I had to come up with a more accurate means or a more reliable means to be able to analyze this data. And I compared the suicide rate in every 100,000 individual, which I think is fair. At least it's giving everyone a flat rate to be able to compare. And then looking at this, we can see that Lithuania actually has a high suicide rate. And because the graph is kind of high, to be able to understand it better, I have this graph showing the 10 countries 10 countries that have high suicide attempts, and then 10 countries that have the lowest suicide, countries with the highest suicide rates and countries with the lowest suicide rates. So looking at this now, we have Lithuania has the highest suicide rates, followed by Russian Federation and Sri Lanka. And funny enough, the US is not even among the it's not among the first 10. And then looking at those with the lowest suicide rate, you can see that St. Kitts and Nevis actually has a low, it has a low impact on the suicide trend of the world. So comparing the suicide rates between male and female, you can see from the graph on my left, males are actually more suicidal than females. And then looking at it over the years, at 1995, we still have more males committing suicide, and it went decrease, it decreased progressively until 2005, where there's a sharp increase in the suicide attempts by males. And then for females, their suicide rate is just there. There's no significant decrease or increase. So we can confidently say that over the years, males are actually more suicidal than females. So also the age range, what age do we have more people committing suicide? Let's see next slide. Sorry. Okay. So at what range do we have more suicide attempts? You can see that from 5 to 14 years, and then the next one is 15 to 24 years, and then the next one is 25 to 34, and then the highest is 75 years upward and above. So you can confidently say that the higher, the older a person gets, the more suicidal the person becomes. So why is this so? It's very simple. Psychiatric and neurocognitive disorder.
Hello? Hello? What's up? Hello?
Okay, sorry about that. The internet. So physical and the final point, euthanasia or physician assisted suicide, otherwise known as mercy killing. So when you have these older people, when they are down with sickness, and then there is no hope of improvement or a better option, the next thing is their loved ones tell the medical person to just end the life of their loved ones. And so this euthanasia is legal in some countries like Canada, the US, and other countries. So these are some of the reasons why older people to people of the older generation, or people that are older. Comparing it between the male and the female, you can see that I already like it was established earlier, males are actually more suicidal than females. And even looking at the age group also, the older the person gets, the more suicidal the person becomes. Because from the graph, you can see that the lowest graph here is from 15 to 24, 5 to 14, followed by 15 to 24, 25 to 34. So the older the person gets, more suicidal it becomes, both in male and female. So why is it that males are more are prone to suicide than females? The reason is because of communication. Males don't actually communicate their feelings easily, unlike females that they say that females are emotional. So males actually like to keep their
Because
feelings
men don't actually,
men
there's this saying that boys don't cry.
also
So a man is trying to be a man, and then the next thing is he does not know that he's killing himself gradually. And then loss of job, where a man has issues of bills keep piling on him, and then he loses his job at an older age. And then it's actually difficult to get employed
actually difficult to
when
get
you're the older you
older
get, it's actually difficult for you to actually land a job. So some of these reasons make them so depressed, and then
and then alcohol is
they opt
actually
for
one of
suicide. And
the
funny enough,
and funny enough
most people resort to that when they are
most
depressed. So
when
when you
they
take
or depressed
alcohol, it's you, and then divorce. When
one commit suicide. And then divorce
you get divorced, your partner
all through her life.
that will stick to her person, to loses that his
So once
male friend, or he loses friends at that age, and the only person he has is his wife, is his spouse. And then when him and his spouse should divorce, there is no one that he can confide in and share his problems with. So the next option they have is to
next
commit suicide. So comparing the rate of suicide with other causes of death, you can see from this graph that suicide is the leading 16th leading cause of death among other causes of death. And the highest is cardiovascular disease, that is heart attack and the rest. But that's not the focus is not here for in this study. So ways in which suicide can be prevented, as highlighted by WHO. Some of the ways in which can be prevented is by political commitment, when the government is more committed to battling suicide instead of just making policies and leaving it on paper. So when they are really committed in implementing some of these policies, it's go along with preventing suicide. And then addressing stigma. Research has shown that people that actually have failed suicide attempts actually stigmatized in the society. And so if the government will go along with addressing some of the stigma, just like the same way that they did with addressing stigma for HIV and AIDS, they can address stigma, it will go along with preventing suicide. Not only
Also, families that actually lose a loved one by suicide, they actually stigmatized also. And increasing awareness, if they can have ways of increasing awareness of showing the dangers of committing suicide and encourage people not to take their lives, if there's more awareness on that, to go along with reducing suicide. And then conducting monitoring and evaluation. If they have personnel that being deployed to the hospitals to monitor the way these health personnel actually take care of people that are patients that are sick, and evaluating and people that actually have failed suicide attempts. If they can evaluate them like one will make to commit suicide, it will go a long way in detecting what wants to take their lives and bringing policies in place that will stop or help reduce suicide attempts or suicide rates. And then conducting research, when we have people conducting research on what to do, on why they should not commit suicide or why people commit suicide. And then it will go a long way because we know the causes and the reasons of why people commit suicide. So when we conduct research and then we come up with some of these policies, it will help in reducing suicide. So conclusion, suicide is not actually a good thing, even if it's a 16 leading cause of death, it's not a good thing. It's not an option. If you know anyone that is depressed, or if you yourself is depressed, where like the saying goes, where there is life, there is hope. So suicide is not as in the last option. Your life is important. Thank you very much. Thank you. So thank you everyone for joining us. So we have come to the end of our presentation. I don't know if anybody has any question or anybody. Francisca Temilade, do you have any question?
I don't have any question. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Please, can someone tell me that the correct pronunciation for
Hello.